Guys, here we are, another day of e-learning, but only 11 e-learning days left. Isn't that music to our ears? It sure is. So I think these are also going to be the last notes that deal with volume. So I initially thought, let's take volume nice and easy. We'll stretch it out. But I think I'm at the point where I'm kind of done with volume. I bet you are too. So I decided, you know what, this is it. And the next notes, we are going to switch gears and do something different. The last one that we haven't really spent too much time on is the sphere. So we're going to find a missing dimension of the sphere. So that's the formula that we'll work with. So sphere. I will be giving you the volume, and I'm asking, what is the radius? So we're, again, working backwards to find that missing radius. And so the way we're going to start this, just like the other ones, we're going to copy down the formula. Volume equals 4/3 pi r cubed. Okay, and from here, I'm going to make my substitutions. The only substitution I have is replacing v with 36 pi. Everything else is going to get dropped down. From here, I'm going to go ahead and, my goal is to get r by itself. So the first step to get r by itself is I have to think about how I can cancel out that 4/3. Remember, the way that we can cancel that is we can multiply by the reciprocal. So I'm going to go ahead and multiply by 3/4. And if I do it to the right side, I have to do it to the left side. And when I multiply by 3/4 and 4/3, that does cancel and leave me with 1. Okay, but on the left side, I am going to have to do 3ABC4 times 36, and I get 27. So that pi, it's like a variable. It's going to stay there. We don't use it in our calculation. So I get 27 pi. And then on the right, the 4/3 was canceled, so I'm going to drop down pi r cubed. My next step here is going to be to divide both sides by pi. So you've seen this in previous videos. So we divide by pi, so I have 27 is equal to r cubed. All right, now I have to think about what number times itself will give me 27. Okay, that's how I'm going to solve for r. Remember how if we had r squared, the inverse is square root. So if I have r cubed, the inverse is cube root. Okay, that's what cube root looks like. Let me show you how to do it on the calculator. So on the calculator, I'm going to clear that out. I'm going to type in 3 because I'm doing the cube root, so that always comes first. Then I hit the second button and this button right here. See what my pen tip is on right here? It's where it has like the x and the square root. And so what it is doing is it's putting that 3 in for x, saying it's cube root. And then I type in 27, and then I get 3 exactly. Okay, so 3 is equal to my radius, my r. Let's go ahead and I'm actually going to move down, and I'm going to do number 3 next. Okay, so I'm going to move my paper down. Same thing, I'm going to recopy the formula. V equals 4/3 pi r cubed. And I'm going to make my substitution. So I'm going to have 2,304 pi. That goes in for V. Everything else is recopied, and it's exactly the same. Okay, and what I'm going to do here, again, is my goal is to isolate r, and we always start with our numbers, and I think about how I do the inverse or a way to cancel it. And the way to cancel it is I multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal is 3/4. So again, you've seen me do this before, 4ABC3 times 3ABC4. So 4/3 times 3/4, I get 1, and so that is my reciprocal. It's canceled. And but again, if I do it to one side, I have to do it to the other. Properties of equality. So on the right, it does cancel, and I can recopy pi r cubed. But on the left, I have to do 3/4, so 3ABC4 times 2,304, okay? And I get 1,728. Remember, there's a pi there, so the pi is going to get dropped down. Okay. My next step is we are going to eliminate pi. And to cancel out pi, I'm going to divide both sides by pi. And when I do that, I get 1,728 is equal to r cubed. From here, what I'm going to do is find the inverse of cubing. The inverse of cubing is cube root. And this is what cube root looks like, okay? But the way we do it on our calculator is we do 3 to represent that cube root, then the second, and then remember it's this button right here, okay, where I have, it looks like x and square root, so I hit that, and that's what our screen should look like, okay? And then I'm going to type in 1,728, and I get 12, okay? So 12 is equal to r, okay? That's that one. All right, let's go ahead and try this again for number 2. Now, 2 and 4 are a little bit different because it's not a pi symbol. I have approximately 34, so volume has already been calculated. So again, I'm going to start by writing out the formula v equals 4/3 pi r cubed. I'm going to substitute 34 in for volume, recopy everything else, because I'm solving for my radius. Okay, I'm going to start the same where I need to work with the number and cancel that out. And the way we're going to cancel it is we multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, multiply by 3/4, and if you do it to one side, we do it to the other. Okay, so notice how our steps are very similar. Okay, so I do keep repeating a lot of the same steps. The 3/4 do cancel out. And I'm going to go ahead and, I'll go ahead and recopy pi r cubed. I'll drop that down. And then I'll do 3/4 times 34. Here we go. Got a little bit more room this way. So 3 ABC4 times 34. And I do get a fraction. So I'm just going to copy that fraction down, 25.5. My next step is I'm going to go ahead and divide by pi to isolate r. And I'm going to leave this in my calculator as is, and I'm going to hit divided by pi, just like that. And you've seen this happen in previous videos. And I hit enter, and I'm just going to round to the nearest whole number. My nearest whole number is 8. So I have 8 is equal to r cubed. Then from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the cube root. So the cube root is the inverse of r cubed. So I'm going to type in 3 first because I'm doing cube root. And then I hit second, and then this button right here where it is x square root. And then I'm going to type in 8, and I get my answer for 2. So the radius is 2. Okay. And I'm going to try this one last time for problem number 4. Hopefully, with all of these examples, you have a good understanding of how to isolate r. That's our goal, is to isolate r, get r by itself. Again, if we know what volume is, okay, 2,145, we're going to substitute that in for v. And I'm going to recopy everything else. Then from here, my goal is to solve for r. I start with 4/3, and I think about how I can cancel 4/3. The way we cancel is we multiply by the reciprocal. The reciprocal of 4/3 is 3/4, and if I do it to one side, we'll do it to the other. And when I multiply that together, I get 1. But on the left, I'm going to have to work this one out. So using my calculator again, I multiply that together, and I'm going to write that all down. So 1,608 and 75 hundredths is about pi r cubed. And just a couple more steps here. We'll go ahead, divide by pi. Notice how I left this in my calculator, so I'm just going to hit divided by pi. And I'm going to go ahead and round, and we'll round to 512 is equal to about r cubed. And then the last step here is I will find the inverse. The inverse of cubing is cube root. And if I do it to one side, we do it to the other. And in our calculator, so we type in 3 for cube root, then second, and then the next button right here. Okay. Then I type in 512. I hit enter, and I get 8. So for my final answer, 8 is equal to r. All right. That's it for these notes. Thanks, guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.